Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. You'll notice that I have some of the mix to mold pink here. I've got my water. I have a flower pot mold. We're going to make this. We're going to do this slightly different. I've done this with resin. The idea, Steve McDonald had done this a really long time ago, where he had done a resin piece. But what he had done is that he had tipped the piece he was working on so that it gave you a different dimension with the resin he put in the mold, and then he sort of moved it around to get different, I'm pretty sure he did different colors in it, and then just kept moving it around until we have to get to the top. But I thought it was kind of cool, so I thought, well, I want to try this mold out. I've got mixed to mold. I've got some of the green and the blue still left. I want to add some colors in with it, but I wanted to give the same concept, the same idea, and just, I mean, it should work, but hey, who knows? Anyway, what I've done is I've got a plastic container here, one that I would have gotten with some food product that I had gotten that I cleaned out that I use. I've got my rice in here, and what we're going to do is we're going to mix up the mixed mold. And then I'm very carefully going to pour it in and then place this in my mold. Now, I will be totally honest with you. This may get a little misshapen as I'm doing it. But I'm kind of hoping that because the bottom part of this is fairly thick, that it doesn't go too silly. And I'm also going to be really curious about getting this out. Because this is the thick part of the mold, and I've got to get it out of the top here, which isn't very thick, but I'm hoping I can roll it down. I'm definitely going to let this sit and cure once I've got the final color in, probably for about 2 or 3 hours, just to make sure it is set, because I don't want to try and get it out of here and break it. I think this is a fairly big mold, and I think it's probably going to take quite a bit of the mix to mold. So I'm going to have to make note of how much it takes at the end of the day. I was going to work in increments of 150 mils of the powder, but I didn't have 150 of the pink, so we're just going to have to play with what we've got. The other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to mix some color in with this. So I just grabbed the Stampin' Ink Granny Apple Green, and I've got the yellow from mix to mold, and I'm going to mix. When I say mix them in, I'm going to put them in and swirl them around a little bit and have that sort of be my color. Now what I could do as I think out loud, but this needs to be cleaned. I was thinking I could use my split cup and put color in, but I don't know if I want to do that. And as I say, it's got some sparkle and it kind of needs to be cleaned out. So I don't know if I'll do that, but I do wonder about doing like I've done before, where I mix the pink up, put some colorant in there, and then, you know, pour it into another bowl and then pour it in, just so we get a better mix of color. So I just want to clean. I think that's what I'm going to do. This has got some sparkle in it too. Not that you'd ever really notice it, but you know, it might come through on the mixed mold, and I don't think I want that to happen. So let's just clean that out a little bit. All right. So what I'll end up doing is I'll let sort of the pink set for a little bit, and then I'll, you know, move on to the next color and then the next color. Then we'll let it sit. And fingers crossed, this will work out for me. And if it doesn't, well, you know not to do this, right? So I think, yeah, we'll leave it like that for right now. I'm kind of a little flustered just because I'm trying to sort of, it was one of those things I thought I really want to do this, but I didn't spend a lot of time sort of thinking my way through it. But that's okay. You don't always, sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes it's a really good thing to do, though. All right, let me do this. So, okay, I think I've got it together. Yep. Okay. Get the lids off of things so I'm organized somewhat, right? Okay, I always have extra water with me, just in case I need it. So let's get working on this and see what we can do with this. Whether we can pull it off. I think it'll be kind of cool. I like the concept of, you know, having it not just basic. I want a bit of a design to it, some flair to it. So we're just gonna see if this will work. And I guess if it gets misshapen, well, we won't do that again. But I'm hoping, I guess because this stuff should set relatively quickly, I'm hoping it won't be an issue with it, you know, misshaping the piece. And I may have to take it out of where it is right now and then just place it back in. I'm appreciating that I might have to do that as well. I just got to get some stuff out of the way so I can place things down. All right, let's put some yellow in there. A little bit of green. Let's froth it about. Hopefully the green won't make this a yucky color. If it does, well, that's okay. We'll call it a Halloween one, right? And then we'll just do again like I've done before. Just put a drop of this green in, because the green and the pink I don't think are going to play well together. That's okay. One drop, Natalie. One or two, Natalie, not 6 or 7. All right. It's kind of a very interesting murky color, but that's okay, right? We can always call it Halloween. Keeping in the theme of murky and whatnot. Oh, I feel like I have absolutely no space in my world right now. All right, let's get this down, and then I'll put it off to the side. So I'll more angle it off to one side. And hope you can't see that, can you? Because my hand is in the way. So let's just do this. And as I say, I think I might have said, I have absolutely no idea how much this is going to take. Yep, pink and green don't go together. Really need to do my due diligence on knowing what colors work together. So how far did that go? Not bad. Okay, so we're just gonna throw this in here. Literally, not throw it, just place it. Okay, so there's a bit of weight on the rice now, so we'll bring this back. And actually, you know what? As much as I'm going one way on this, which is I think this is gonna be cool, but I won't mind. There's some right here. Can you see the color in here? So we might get some funkiness going on from that perspective. And like I say, I think this is thick enough that it'll set up okay. And yeah, we're just gonna see what this does. And then, like I say, hopefully I can get it out when the time comes. So we'll let this sit for a little bit. I don't know how long. Just long, I think really for me, it's going to be just long enough that it can harden up a little bit. So maybe half an hour or so. We'll move on with our next color. So I'll get that all organized. I know blue and green and yellow will work okay together. Pink with green didn't work at all, but that's okay. Again, we'll kind of make it Halloweenish. But yeah, and there's a bit of a pattern on this. So that's kind of cool. And and like I say, if I, need to go back in with another color because I don't have enough and I need to write down 135 so far, we can bring white into the mix, or we can try and rotate between the green and the blue. I think I have mostly blue, and I don't really want to bring white into it, but if I have to, I will. So let's let it sit and see what happens. Moving on to our next color, which is going to be blue. This is warm, which is fine. I don't have an issue with it being warm. So we're just going to put that there. We're going to mix up our blue. And then we will get to pouring it in, and then we'll, move it about. We'll add again green and yellow, because I know green and yellow work with blue. But again, it's one of those, we're going to see what we come up with, and hey, who knows at the end of the day what our piece is going to look like. That's one of the fun things sometimes about doing our artwork. It's like resin. You never know what you're going to get until it's all set and done. And I'm thinking if I do this in resin, which I kind of want to, since doing the skull with the sawdust, I have this sort of need to do more pieces, and I thought I would do it with this, and I figured I'd have to do a deep pour resin in this because it's pretty deep, and I wouldn't want it to flash cure. And the only way I would use a regular 2-part epoxy on this piece would be if I were going to be doing it in layers, for whatever reason. If I was going to be doing something like this with resin, then I would use just a regular 2-part epoxy. If I am going to do it all at once, I'm feeling pretty sure that I want to do a deep pour on this. And I can't tell you why, but I just think the idea of sawdust in this would be kind of cool. So that's kind of why I want to do sawdust in this. There's a couple of pieces I want to do sawdust in. So we'll see what happens. Now we're going to do the same thing with this as I did with the last one. We're going to pour it in here, some in here, and then we'll put some more color in. I think I'm going to stick more with the yellow on this one. Oops. Ooh, that would have been a mess, eh? Hold on to those bowls, people. We'll put a little dot of green in. That would have been, I would have worn most of that, but this is not a place I want to be dumping this. So always hold on tightly. I'll thank my universal angels for that one not flying all over the place. Alrighty. So let's just pour this in, and again I'll try and do it this way so you can see. Get this over here, and we'll just pour it, and then we'll tip it. We may not need as much of this stuff as I thought I was going to need. What did I do with it? This, there we go. Okay. For the side. Now we're going to turn this. Now I'm going to have to be careful because we are close to the top on that. So we'll do that, and we'll let it, hopefully I want to bring this back for you so you can see it. So again, because of how I'm pouring it, I think it's going to be an interesting piece when it's done. I don't think I'm going to need 150 of the green. And I think what we're going to have to do is when we get to doing the green is I'm going to have to just set it down so it's sitting on the mat. But we'll get some shape with it. Like we'll get the diagonals on it anyways because of how the other two colors have gone. So yeah, we'll let this sit for about half an hour as well. We'll come back, and yeah, I'm not thinking I'm going to need 150 of the green. I don't know how much I'm going to need, but I'll have to give that some thought, and or have another piece here, which is probably a good idea. Yeah, we'll have a look inside once it's. Yeah, and I might just do 150 to do 150. Anyways, again, we'll be back. On to our last color. Now, I will admit that this is sort of gone a little bit out of shape. It's not as, like, it's not sitting flat on my table. I'm okay with that. And I can see, because of how I had it laid, that it may not be, you know, exact. But again, I'm okay with that. And I look at it being that it's a unique piece. We're doing something different. Now, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see in there. Let me just, I'm trying to turn it the right way. No, I'm not doing a very good job here. I just thought I'd let you see if you could see into it, but that's not working out really well for me. So I'll just stop trying to do that. So, got our green. Again, we'll work with the green apple and the yellow. We're just going to pour this one in now because we're going to be getting close to the top and I'm not going to be able to angle it. 150 mils, fingers crossed, this is going to be enough. I believe it is. And if I have any left over, I am going to make another one of the phone stands. And at some point in my life, decorate it up. So we'll just get this out. There are some, it's going to be a little lazy and not clean this, but yeah, apparently I can't handle it not being as clean as I can get it. So let me just get this cleaned up a little bit so that at least it's half decently cleaned. This time I am going to do my best to not to almost pour this on myself. I don't know if you guys gasped when I did that, but again, I don't want this ending up on my floor. That would just not be a good scene. So always be careful. If I had a linoleum floor beneath me or something of that nature, I wouldn't be as concerned, but it's carpet underneath me. I do have one of the plastic sheets down that you can run your chairs over, so at least, you know, hopefully most of it would end up on me and or it. But again, just be extra careful, right? This is a pretty color all on its own. I will mention I had Illumilite had seen my video I did on their ceramic resin, and I did ask them about how soon that the package would be coming out that just had the product without the molds and the pigments. I said, because I don't need more of either of those things. And they said, because I wanted to know when they were going to get it into Michael's, and apparently they're doing it soon. I don't know what how that defines what soon is, but hopefully they get that into the stores soon, because I think that would be cool. So we'll put some yellow in this, put a shot of green in it, and then I'm just gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna pour in here a shot of green, a couple of yellows. Down. Again, we're going to be very careful in how we do this. All right. I'll hold it with both hands, although if I do that you can't really see, so I'll try and do it this way. Now I didn't tap this at all. Alright, so there we have it. The rest we'll just put into the bottom of this. I'll have to make some more. I don't even have enough for this phone stand, so I'll have to shake it about and whatnot. So let me just get that off to the side. Let's get this. There, I had an air bubble on that. We'll just get this out to the corners. Come on. There we go. So what I'll do is I'll mix up some more of this so that I can do the rest of my phone stand. Interesting that I'm getting one air bubble here. Let me just get this over here so then I can go take that and rinse them out. So now, not doing anything, gonna let this sit for, I'm gonna say maybe 2 to 3 hours. I have some things I need to do, so I'm going to do them, and then we will come back when I feel this is secure enough, set enough to take it out, because I do not want to break it. And then we'll see how it looks. So for you, as I say, it'll be moments. For me, it's going to probably be, well, it might even be about 4 hours. I'm trying to think of where I am in my time right now. Yeah, it's probably going to be about 3 or 4 hours before I take this out of the mold. And I just want to make sure that it's set, because I don't want any issues with it. And I don't think you want to see it break. And I definitely don't want it to break. So we will leave it and see what kind of interesting design we get, how dark it goes. And of course, I know that as it sits and sets up, that it'll probably go a little bit darker, but hey, it's going to be an interesting looking pot at the end of the day. We will be back when I'm ready to take this out, and fingers crossed it comes out nice and easy for me. I left this for about 4 hours. I had some other things I needed to do, and because we're dealing with this, and I really don't know what to expect taking it out. I wanted it to have lots of time. And with my, this is heavy right now. With my phone stand, I had to make up some more resin, more ceramic resin to make this piece. And I didn't have enough. I didn't have any green left. So what I did was I took white and I added in some of the green and yellow pigments. I just mixed it all up into a big batch of whateverness and threw it in. So not much of a design on this side, which is okay because it gives me lots of opportunity to decorate it. And then there's that, well, green of some sort. But we will sit and let this all set up so that it can, then we can do something with it. And I always clean out my molds. I wash them out with soap and water to ensure that once I use them for resin, that I don't have any of the residue of the ceramic resin left in, because it will give you a matte finish because of the product left behind. So always wash these out. Get this out. Again, this should not be any kind of issue taking this out because it's been sitting for so long. And I be careful. I'm careful anyway. There we go. I'm trying to determine what that is. Funny. Anyway, so that's my phone stand that I'll get decorated up because it's way too plain and boring right now. Put that over there too. Just get everything out of the way. that up there. Yeah, put everything out of the way, and then I'll make sure I wipe everything down before I carry on with my life. Alrighty, so before I came down to take this out of the mold, I thought, oh, please don't let this have shrunk in like we've had before, but it's still nice and round, so that's a great thing. It looks interesting from this perspective. I think it's going to look cool. It's just like, can we get it out without doing any damage to anything? And I feel very much that we're going to have to roll this out, and I may have to pull it away from the camera view, like I've had to do things before, and we can hope, fingers crossed, I can get this out, right? So, yeah. Because it's going to be one of those pieces that's just big. So I think we have to I have to roll it down enough to, I think this is going to be one of those challenging pieces to get out. And I'm really starting to pay attention to that when I am, when I'm doing or buying molds now, that, okay, so how am I going to get this end out of that? And this is another one. And it's one of those you don't want to cut it unless you absolutely have to. So I'm not sure how easy it would be from a resin perspective to get this out, but we'll just keep yanking on it and hoping I can pull this off. If not, then you might want to think twice if you were going to buy it. That's all I'm going to say to you. And maybe if I can get it down enough, I can loosen it from this end. Yeah, see, I'm loosening it that way. So that's helpful. So what I'm doing now is I'm pushing it up, right? Which is hopefully going to help to some extent, because I don't think I'm going to be able to pull that over there. So it may have to be, and if I have to go off camera to do this, I will. I have a nice top on, so I don't want to push this against me. But maybe if I can keep pushing this up and get space that way, then I can keep rolling it. That's hard. My poor thumb. Ow, that one I can't do that with. I'm having issues with my thumbs these days, so I'm having to be really careful with what I do. But we'll keep doing this, because if this comes out that way, that would be brilliant. Yeah, you could almost have a whole video on doing something like this, couldn't you? Okay. I want to try and, like, I almost want to try and grip it this way, but I don't think my thumbs are going to let me grip it the way I want to. Now I feel it a little misshapen here, but again, I kind of put that to having manipulated it the way I did. Okay, yeah. Let's see if I can do this. This is going to have to be the way we do this. Yeah, I know. I didn't want to get this up against me. So I apologize for being this out of view right now, but I am sort of trying to think how I can best get it out without making a horrible mess of everything. I'd love to be able to, so what would be brilliant is if they had something in the center, like right down at the bottom, that you could just grab on to pull this out, because I think that would definitely help. This is reminding me of, what was it, my big skull I did? Like, it's like, how the heck am I ever going to get this thing out of there? I think it was a big skull. But I've had other pieces that have been challenging. And I don't feel like I'm going to be able to get this up and over that with, yeah, I don't think I think I'm going to have to just work at this. I'll just keep pulling at it, I guess. And I don't want to put anything hard up against the or underneath here, because I don't want to mark this, but I don't know if I can double bend it over. Yeah, that's not going to work well for me either. Okay. Okay. I am not going to hold this up. I am going to get this out. I'll tell you how I get it out because I am determined I'm going to get it out. But I think I'm going to have to work with it a little bit to manipulate it enough. I mean, it is moving up, but it's not moving up a lot. So I need to kind of figure out how best to get this without breaking it. I don't think I'm going to, but right, we don't know that 100% sure. So I'm going to let you go. I'll bring you back once I have this out, and hopefully that won't take me a long time. I seriously need to stop buying molds that end up hurting my fingers. So while we're out, a little bit of an indentation on this finger right here. This is going to take some work. Hopefully it will be easier because I want to do it in resin. When I do it in resin, it'll be easier to get out. I say that now. Basically, it was a matter of just continuing to pull on it. And what I did was I got it so that I had to put my hands underneath the mold. Okay, so I underneath it like this. And then I just had to keep pulling at it until I sort of broke, I'll say, the seal from the inside. Like I just had to keep working on one spot to pull it up and to get it out. I would love and I want to leave it like this because I want to wash it, but in the bottom here, in this section here, on the inside, I think it'd be brilliant to have some sort of something that you could grasp onto so you could pull it out. Now, my only thought is to, because I think if you could let the suction out from the inside, that would be brilliant and helpful. But I don't know if I can make it, like pour silicone on the inside of this, but have something within the silicone, sort of. So any of you people out there who live in the country and have septic tanks, so you have, and for those of you who don't, I'll just explain. So here's the lid of it, and there's two pieces of metal that fit into the cement so that that piece of cement can be pulled up off of the septic tank. And that's what I'm thinking about for the inside of that. So I'm going to give that some thought because I really think that if you can release it from the inside, I think that would make it a lot easier to get out. That's just my thought. I'd like to see if I can't make something like that for it. But again, one of those pieces, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. And here's what, so taking into consideration how I poured this, so we have a couple of stray pink lines there, but this could be, I mean, it's going to be neat. It is going to need some sanding on the inside because it's a little rough, but let me just turn it for you so hopefully you can see what it looks like on the inside. So not bad. It's not bad. I like the idea of having done it this way. So let's just move it around. Now it looks rough is not the word I want to be using right now. Antique-ish, maybe. It does have some air bubbles in it, but it looks kind of cool. I like it. And I think with a little bit of sanding, not necessarily on the outside, although I have in here, I'd almost like to sand it down, but I'd be very careful doing that. And I'm going to be really curious to see what color it comes out as it dries. So I'll let it sit for another 3 or 4 hours. I've got plenty to keep me busy. And we'll come back and see how it looks in a few hours. But it looks interesting. And again, like, good luck recreating this. Color-wise, shape, yeah, we could pull that off again doing it. But again, it's one of those unique things. It's just, it's different. And I do kind of like the inside. Again, I would want to sand that down some. I'm just trying to think if I can get my light over. No, not sure what's going to do the best, but anyway. but I think it looks kind of cool. The inside, I wish you could see this one side where the bluish green is, because it almost reminds me of a shower. When I say that, like a rainstorm shower on the inside part of it. I love being able to see different things like this. And I think I would sand the top of this because I've got a couple of bumps and bruises there too, but yeah. So, challenge to get it out. And you're going to want, as I say, you're going to want to sort of keep in one place and keep pulling it and pulling it. And thank your hands when you finally get that off of there. So, we're going to let it sit. I'm going to put it on my baking sheet that I have over here, the one that you let cookies cool on, a cool rack. And come back in about 4 hours and we'll see how it's looking from a color perspective then. I'll see you in a little while. Back. This has had, again, I gave it a few hours. I have been bouncing around quite a bit today with different things I need to do. So it's everything's working out, you know, plan-wise for getting the video done and getting back to you guys. I'm liking how the color is coming up in this, and I think more, I can't really say more so in the inside. And granted, you know, it's still fairly heavy. We've got to wait a little while before it's going to be totally dried out. But let me, as I point it towards me and not let you see the inside. Anyway, there's your humor for the day. I would love to get right inside there, but my lighting's not great. And I can't. Yeah, anyway, so let's have a look in here. I'll go slowly. I want to get it up more. There we go. So there you go. Maybe too slow, but anyway. Hopefully, when you guys are seeing this, it is more vivid. And you know, it's kind of funny. I'm watching my part of my camera where I can see what I'm doing and keep adjusting things so you can see what's going on in there. And hopefully, when you've got it on a big screen, it's going to make a difference and not what I'm seeing. But anyway, I think this was a cool idea. Has it got some flaws in it? Absolutely. Am I bothered by that? No, I'm not. And when I had shut the camera off, the camcorder off earlier, and I got thinking, this, in its own interesting way, reminds me of something from Spain. I was there when I was a very little girl, maybe 5 or 6 years old. My mom and I went to Spain one year. She had friends who lived there, and we had gone for a visit. And there's just something about the coloring, there's something about, you know, the texture of it that just makes me think Spain. I can't tell you other than it's just that sense. And I would love to know if you've made something yourself and you've looked at it later, or it's just all of a sudden it's like, it reminds me of. If you had that experience, I'd love to hear about it. But yeah, I mean, and the cool thing will be if I can kind of keep this pinkish color on the inside, and yet you've got this orangey, pinky green, whatever on the outside. So I think it's a very unique piece. I think about sanding a little bit of it down, and I'm going, but maybe not. And so I know in the Orient, when they break things, they put it back together with gold. And so I see pieces or spots like that, and I think, oh, do you want to do that? I don't know if I don't have enough of them, and I'm not about to break this just so I can, glue it back together with gold or anything like that. But yeah, I think this has turned out. Aside from the fact I once again bought a mold where I hurt myself trying to get the darn thing out of it. Yeah, I'm liking it. The inside I might sand down because there are some rough patches in it. But maybe again that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Maybe when pieces do this, they're meant to do it. And for me, maybe it's a sign, just leave it. Let it be what it's meant to be. And yeah, I am not disappointed at all. Like No, I'm not disappointed in this at all. I think it's kind of cool. You know, the air bubbles are cool. The sort of the blending of color is cool. The shape and how we did it is cool. I don't know about anybody else out there, but I like it. And I would like to make some more. It took about, I'm going to say around 415 mils of the mix to mold, which gets me thinking that as far as resin is concerned, it shouldn't take me that much to do it. And I'm almost thinking as well, because of the thickness of it, that maybe I might get away with using 2 parts epoxy versus a deep pour, but I'm not sure. And the only advantage for me, because I do want to do this with sawdust, is to do it as a deep pour, so I can get more of the air bubbles, you know, potentially out of it. But yeah, let me know what you think in the I'm cool with this. Isn't that brilliant? Natalie likes it, so you know that says it all. This I'm going to have to sand down, but again, I'll let this dry out some more before I even attempt that. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of my audience. Thank you for supporting me. You know, just the positiveness of the comments that I'm getting and the fact that I keep getting more people watching my videos, which is beautiful. And I have to admit, I am breathing a bit of a sigh that I'm only doing 2 videos a week and now instead of 3, because I can do better on doing 2 than I could doing 3. Anyway, so thank you very much for watching. Thank you for being a part of my channel. And I hope whatever you're getting up to from a creative endeavor today is exactly what you need it and want it to be. Take care. Bye for now.